Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land, cross over the Red Sea, and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome to Marketplace with Charles, where dreams are turned into reality. Marketplace is brought to you by Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Kuwisa Lodge, situated in the heart of Ngobeni Nature Reserve, where you sleep, dream, and wake up with the big five around you. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we empower you with all the tools that you need to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week we bring insight from experts in different fields of business, from men and women of faith. On today's program, we meet the chief executive of eHub. What a young man who is passionate with what he's doing. Well, Andrew believes that if it takes a village to raise a child, then it should take an eHub to raise a great business. Not only great business, but successful business. Andrew, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
What a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
I am delighted to have you.
Not as delighted as I am to be here, so it's mutual.
Well, I heard a lot about you, but the viewers out there, I don't think they know you, who you are. Do you want to tell them who really Andrew is?
Andrew is young, as you said, but most importantly, he's a maverick, an achiever, but essentially one of the things that make him thrive is the pursuit of the Hall of Fame in everything he does, which the Hall of Fame for many people is understanding that excellence is not a questionable subject. It's a value that you have to keep by. And that's what I can share with the viewers.
Are you telling me that you're excellent in whatever you do?
In everything I commit myself to, yes, I am.
And if I'm not excellent in what I'm doing, what will be the downfall of that?
Lack of credibility. We live in a society that is dependent on relationships. And if you don't give enough to the relationships that you're forming and building, then you might as well not be in that relationship, because credibility fosters the trust and the relationships that we want to build.
Look, we're going to talk about eHub today. This is for the first time in my life to hear about this word eHub. Did you coin it yourself?
Yes, but it's nothing that is unusual. The eHub is an entrepreneur's hub where we cement reliable relations amongst entrepreneurs, from aspiring ones, existing ones, to the startup ones that want to build formidable relations so that they could see themselves becoming the big brains they ought to be in this world.
Andrew, tell me, what led to the formation of eHub?
That's a lovely, long love story that I'd love to share with you this day. With the eHub, it was in 2017, in November, a friend approached me, or then was an acquaintance, and wanted to work with me in the public speaking arena. Now, in the public speaking arena, it's difficult to co-work with someone unless if it's possibly training and giving services out there. In this case, we formulated what we thought was an entrepreneur's program where we were going to learn about entrepreneurship. As they say, you never have to entertain failure as the beginning or the middle. And that was for us the key, to realize that we were going through and making things work. With us, it was a process of getting to understand what entrepreneurship really is all about. And that got us to realize that a lot of small businesses are failing. We have stats going out to say approximately 80% of businesses not only in South Africa, but in the African continent at large, are failing. And that was concerning. But not only that, we've got in South Africa, to start off, we're in the top 5 in the whole world, rated to have the highest unemployment rate, ranging to approximately 40%. Now, this is the recorded ones, not to talk of those that are not recorded. And that got us to understand the impact of what we could do if we took this Entrepreneurs Hub, the eHub now known, into the community. And that was how it started. That was how it was conceived. How it developed was really a mission of how the village came together. A then acquaintance of mine, also a friend, a colleague now, and who is now our operations director, Sinate Liu, at one event says to me, Andrew, how do we get people to attend certain important events? And I say, take on the challenge and let's organize a relaunch of the eHub. And from then on, formidable women came on board, and that's how the eHub got to be where it is today, where we are helping entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs take that confident leap of faith. And I think that's the short form of the version of the story of how the eHub got formulated.
You have got your client base.
Yes.
Or you call that your patrons.
Yes.
How do you source them?
Charity begins at home, and as we know in this African context, everyone next to us is an aspiring entrepreneur or possibly calls themselves an entrepreneur, but they are not always succeeding. And with us, we determine ourselves to identify the entrepreneurs in our circles. I'm involved in a number of networks that have allowed us to connect and reach out to many people who need entrepreneurship skills and development so that they can be successful in what they do. And as such, this is where we try and by all means to reach out to each one of those so that we can ensure that the hub of entrepreneurs that we bring to the pot are going to be able to be successful entrepreneurs who employ other people, curbing one of the challenges that we're seeing in society nowadays.
Tell me, Andrew, would you say entrepreneurship is an answer to this demon, this devil of unemployment in the continent?
Most definitely. I always say, just like in Cape Town, we're experiencing a drought of water. In Africa, we're also experiencing a drought of entrepreneurship or leaders. Now, isn't it ironic that in Cape Town, they experience a drought of water? But wait, they've got 2 oceans surrounding them. Similarly, in Africa, it's not because we don't have the resources and the people to take on entrepreneurship, but the right quality of water the Cape Townians needed to drink was what caused the drought. Similarly, in Africa, the right quality of entrepreneurs we need is what's causing this high unemployment rates. And we need our entrepreneurs not to just jump into the space of entrepreneurship, but they need to take a confident, guided, reliable leap of faith into this entrepreneurship world. Now, the question is, where do people go to when they need reliable information to start a business? Google? Google tells you anything and everything you want. Where do people get help and advice when they need to run their business? Google? People next door? My uncle who owns a spaza? Maybe, but is that sufficient? Where do you, business moguls like yourself, go to when you need to mentor someone? The eHub.
You see, talking about Cape Town, with the 2 oceans, you're just making me angry.
But that's reality.
There's a lot of water there, 2 oceans.
But the right quality of water we need is scarce.
Have you been to Dubai?
I have, yes.
Look at how beautiful Dubai is. And it is in the desert. Dubai, they have been able to convert the seawater into drinkable water. Why can't we copy from them?
It's our focus. I love taking pictures. And if you have one of the latest phones, you will notice that it's got what we call a portrait mode. And that portrait mode simply learns one skill, to focus. Now, if you take a photo of a portrait mode with you, everything else in the background is blurry. Similarly, with us in Africa, I find that a challenge with many entrepreneurship, we are touch and go, we are everywhere. We don't learn the element of focus. following one course until successful. And if we're able to follow one course until successful, we may be able to emulate the likes of the Dubai and the other developed economies where entrepreneurship has been promoted, supported, and brought up to support each other. And hence we say we need that village. We need that hub that is going to incubate and bring these stories together. A lot of times now, once you fail, who's there to help you? In fact, once you fail, you're laughed at because what were you thinking going into that space? Do you not know what's normal? But what we need to be realizing is entrepreneurship is a journey of failing forward.
Maybe we're lacking mentors.
True.
People to look up to. Someone to pick me up and hold my hand and say, let us walk together. I've walked this journey before.
It's true. We are lacking mentors, but we are also lacking the will to look for those mentors and identifying the ideal mentors. Now, like I said, right now, where does someone go to when they need a mentor? Where would you say someone should go to? We struggle to identify. You can name 3-5 different places. We as the eHub want to make sure that we are the epicenter. We're building an ecosystem where mentors are found, where clients and suppliers are there to exchange products and services so that we then see the development. An aspiring entrepreneur should be able to find a startup entrepreneur who has just started to be able to take them through the hiccups, the humps that they went through when they were starting up. A startup entrepreneur should be able to reach to an industry expert to say, this is how you scale up, this is how you grow, without much challenges. But that opportunity is not there. And we want to create it, and we are building that space, that ecosystem where we've got everything in one space and you're able to identify it.
You see, the challenge that I picked up personally is that most of the people who come to you and say they want to be mentored, or who come to me specifically, they say, we need to be mentored. What I realize is that they really don't need to be mentored.
What do they need?
They need money. They come to you in the name of mentorship, yes. But as you work the journey with them, you'll eventually realize that all they need is free money.
Very true. And we have been fighting this. And I was loving one of your episodes previously where I think it was Katie who was sharing how it's essential for us to realize that we don't necessarily need funding to get our business going, right? And this is the mindset that we need our aspiring entrepreneurs to get into. Remember I shared earlier that people don't know where to find information. So when they go onto Google and they ask how to start a business, possibly the first site they get to will tell them step 1 is to find funding. But it's false. Yeah. It is false. Our ideal is we need the right advice, the right mentorship, the right guidance. And this is where we start off. We have an e-mindset, entrepreneurship mindset program that we run before we take you onto the programs that we run to get you a mentor. So before you identify a mentor, we take you through a mindset program to get you into the mindset of an entrepreneur. Do you really need funding or do you need clients? Yeah. You get to understand that. And if you need funding, what do you need the funding for? Is it to pay your own salary? Or is it to buy a flashy car so that you can post on Instagram or anything? We've got to be clear on our objectives. And I say the focus is very important. For us to be able to build this village has to have beautiful beginnings, a foundation. And the foundation is the mindset. Get into the mindset of an entrepreneur. It's not pap and place. There is a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. And then the fruits will show up after the foundation has been laid. And remember, when you're building a house, you don't just build the foundation and tomorrow you're already building the walls. There is a process, there is time, and you don't always have to be picking up. Sometimes you need to ground yourself in that what you're doing and cement yourself, and hence we call it cementing reliable relations.
Will you say mentorship is not cheap? Because some people who come to you for mentorship, they come to you in such a way that you have to go to their level instead of them coming straight to you and meet up with you. One of my mentors, if I were to give you an example, Dr. Elijah Maswanganya. I hate driving, but most of the time I'll find myself driving him to either Swaziland, Botswana, Namibia, all over, because when I'm driving him, I'm accessing his wisdom at the same time. Would you say mentorship is not that cheap?
Mentorship is not cheap. Mentorship is not free. There is no such thing as a free lunch. That we were taught that we need to experience in business. And especially if you're going to be operating a profit-making business, you need to learn that mentorship is not free. Either you pay in time, either in resources, either financially, one way or the other you will pay. Otherwise, if you don't, ignorance will take over. And we've got to be careful. And I think that's one of the courses that we have in the e-mindset, to get people in the manner of being resourceful. Because yes, we do have aspiring entrepreneurs who do not have the finances perhaps to move to from point A to point B. But if they learn to be resourceful, they're still paying in some way or the other, by services, by looking out for whatever programs that they're doing, whatever way, you've got to be able to identify how you're paying. And if you're unable to identify how you're paying your mentor, then you need to raise a red flag. And most importantly, if your mentor is the one following up after you, it's not going to work. You're not going to learn. You're not going to benefit. Mentorship, it's the mentee or the protege who approaches the mentor and gets the mentor to be that source of wisdom, not to be the operations person in the business or in your personal life.
Look, you said there's nothing called free lunch.
True.
Give me time to go and have lunch that I paid for.
Go ahead.
I'm going with you.
Are we?
Yes.
I'm happy to.
We'll be back shortly.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome to Marketplace with Charles. We just had a great lunch that we paid for, because there is nothing like free lunch. Anybody who tells you that will give you something for free is lying. One way or another, you will be paying for it. You may not be aware of it, but let me guarantee you, you will be paying for it. Talking about mentorship, mentorship is not free. Don't expect someone to mentor you and come down to where you are. You are the one who should go to him. Try taking him up for a cup of tea, cup of coffee. Take him out for a dinner. You realize that there are a lot of mentors out there, but they hate to be abused. Maniari,
Yes.
have you ever been abused?
I have, and I've learned to say no. You know, when I was growing up, my mother knew if I was crying, and the only thing that would possibly make me happier was what we called a lollipop, because that was what I needed when I cried. But at some point in time, as I grew up, a lollipop was not enough. Right now, we just had lunch. That was good enough to get me here and continue this interview. However, is it the same with you? So we've got to identify again in the mentorship that we're talking about. Is a cup of coffee good enough to get you to drive from your residence, to take you away from your family time, to take you away from the other things that you could have been doing, reading or personal development activities? To have a 1 hour unguided, unstructured conversation with me in the form of mentorship. So sometimes even a cup of coffee is not good enough. You've got to identify what is it that will make him or her, the mentor, want to spend time with me? Are they getting fulfilled out of it? Are you showing results so much so that they are willing to be a part of this journey? Are you sharing with you your resources or at least your time to say, you know what, I see that you do this and this. Can I come and help you? And whilst you're doing it, I will get some wisdom from you.
Tell me, what resources that does eHub make available to aspiring entrepreneurs?
So when we say aspiring entrepreneurs, I just want to clarify that because it's a usually misquoted element. When we talk of aspiring entrepreneurs, in our case as the eHub, we're talking of people who are willing to build businesses that are going to employ other people. Because remember, our aim, our bottom line at the end of the day is to ensure that we curb unemployment rates in Africa. We try and ensure that if we curb unemployment, what's going to happen is all those social ills, drug abuse, gender-based violence, all these things might also be curbed because people are occupied in employment. So the first thing that you come through, if you're going to come to our services, is we need to identify whether or not you are seriously an aspiring entrepreneur. And that's a program that our learning and development team is going to take you through. So that's an e-mindset program that happens just before you take part into the program. So with that, you learn elements to do with what entrepreneurship, what the expectations are of you as an aspiring entrepreneur, how you prepare for that journey financially, physically, mentally, and most importantly, emotionally. And this is where we remind you that you don't need funding to succeed. You need to be resourceful and also understanding where you're putting your money in. And hence we talked about cementing reliable relationships. Sometimes we don't necessarily have to pay for a service by financial means, but by an act of service. And lastly, obviously, is the implementation plan, which involves the marketing, which involves the human resources. So all these are the online masterclasses that we do. And then once a month, we've just started having something similar where we have live entrepreneurial events that we're doing. And because of this corona, we'll be doing some of them online, and you can then find them on YouTube for those that are unable to visit us because we have these events in Johannesburg.
Would you say what you said now, is it part of your seminars, or seminars is something else?
So our seminars include the monthly events that we call. So our monthly events are called seminars because we then have different entrepreneurs that come through and participate and share the experience. So we almost call it a live mentor-mentee session because in this live mentor-mentee session, this is where we are able to bridge the gap between what we commonly see on TV or on Instagram to what is happening in reality. I mean, for instance, recently we're talking about future-proofing your business. And in this conversation, we had people talking about how certain finances are important to keep into check. So knowing that there are apparently two sets of financials you do in a business. If you're working from home, you still need to cover your rent and. But a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs don't know about it. So how do you build into that? You need to be able to identify that. Network marketers also have that same concept of saying, you've got to join into the party. How do you win in network marketing? We learn all those techniques in those live seminars. So that's part and parcel of it, in addition to the other consultancy services we have.
You spoke about the e-learning.
Yes.
What does it entail?
So, as I've mentioned, we talk of the business model in depth. So we talk of the SWOT analysis, the business finances and managing it, which is talks of also to your personal finances. We talk of your ability to identify your markets, your marketing structures, your marketing strategies, and your market research all in one. We talk of the implementation strategy because it's all nice and well to say, I've got an idea. But from ideation to realization, that's a journey on its own, and the emotion that come with it. So we also deal with that. And from then on, we talk of around how do we then implement the mentorship program. So how do you now have this business model, this business plan set and ready? How do you get yourself into the market pitching? How do you pitch yourself as an entrepreneur to a potential investor or to a client? Your ability to engage clients and keep getting them back, that retention is just as important. And most importantly, keeping your clients, because a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. So we've got to make sure that before we run out to look for new clients, how are we treating the current clients? Customer service, emotional intelligence, all those that people call soft skills that I want to call essential skills, those are embedded in our online trainings.
If someone needs more of you, how do they get hold of Andrew and EHUB?
So getting hold of Andrew is different from getting hold of EHUB. So I'll start with Andrew. I think with Andrew, rather the safest way to get hold of Andrew is to look for him on social media at Andrew Tsuro, ANDREWTSURO. On all social media, that's the platform. I'm most active on LinkedIn. I'm most moderately active on Facebook, but I think the LinkedIn would be your best bet, especially if it's business related. And there you'll find previous episodes or engagements we've had with different entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs and the work that we've done sometimes.
Well, thank you very much for gracing our studio, sir.
It was a great pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
I am Charles Ngobeni, signing off on Marketplace with Charles, and I'm available in all forms of social media. God bless you. See you next time.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.